I enjoyed it when I came here. It was the first time I had ever seen the Northern Lights, which is really a pretty spectacular experience. But I'm glad to be back. I always enjoy coming to Canada. In fact, I used to do a lot of CBC television back in the 1960s for craft theater. I was one of the few American actors who was invited to do craft theater at the time on CBC television. So I really learned to love the Canadian people, and I even entertained the idea at some point of becoming a citizen. But then there was Hollywood.
Some late people just came in. You guys couldn't be on time? We're starting 10 minutes late. Try to keep up. Okay, so guys, don't be shy. I'll ask all the questions if you want, but if you have a question, put your hand in the air. We're going to start it off with this gentleman right here.
Hi, I'm Wayne Gladstone from Craft.com. Thank you for coming today.
Oh, thank you.
I was just wondering, so much of Star Wars was archetypal characters. I had always seen Han Solo as kind of a space cowboy, but Lando Calrissian almost more of a space pirate. I was wondering if the pirate theme was something that inspired you as you were drawing on that character, and if I'm totally wrong, what elements you were drawing on to play with.
I think that's a pretty good definition of Lando. I always think of Lando as like Steve Wynn, who runs Vegas. So that's my reference. That's always been my reference.
Okay, does anyone want to follow that awesome question? That's scary. Someone in the back does. While we're waiting for you to get down there, did you guys all know that Billy's not just an actor, but he's also a painter? And you won some fantastic awards for your art. Why don't we share the awards that you've won with folks?
Well, I was nominated for a Guggenheim when I was 19 years old. And I studied at a school, when I left high school, I went to a school called Music and Art High School in New York City, where I grew up. And from Music and Art, I went to a school called the National Academy of Design for the Fine Arts, where I spent 2 years on a scholarship painting. And I won Holgarten, which is comparable to a Guggenheim back in those years. But there are a lot of other awards I've won. I've had exhibitions. In fact, I have some paintings in Toronto right now at the Brian List Gallery. But I've been exhibiting for quite a number of years. So it's pretty much a part of my life.
Is Toronto far from here? We're far, right? So none of you can make the trip to Toronto. Okay, but go to bdwworldart.com and you can see some of his work online. We'll say that again. Okay, yes, sir. I think it's a sir. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Zach, and I was just wondering, how did Star Wars, being part of Star Wars, help your career?
Prior to Star Wars, I was moving along pretty good with Lady Sings the Blues, Mahogany, and with Diana Ross, and I was nominated for an Emmy for a movie I did with James Caan called Brian Song, which is a real classic.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Subsequent to that, the Star Wars situation, I was doing quite a few movies. Bingo Long, The Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings, about the Negro Leagues back in the 1930s and 40s. And about other movies that were, I guess in some sense, landmark movies. They weren't all great successes, but they were sort of landmark kind of movies, which I'm always, interested in doing. But the Star Wars experience, of course, is like an ongoing experience. It just never stops. The character Lando has been on Robot Chicken. I just did. There's another one we just finished doing. think I can mention you.
You can now.
Yeah.
The Star Wars Detours.
Yeah.
He actually reprises the role of Lando Calrissian for Lucasfilm.
And then,
And you can see that online, guys, StarWars.com. Who's seen it? Anybody seen it yet? Wow. One VIP did. Fantastic. There are more people in the back who saw it.
so and also I just the other day did some voice stuff for as Lando for the Cartoon Network, the
Clone Wars.
the one with the Lego Star Wars. Which is kind of cool. And so it goes on and on and on and on. So listen, you know, a lot of people don't want, you know, once they do a character in a project, they don't want to know about it, don't want to be associated with it. But listen, to me it's cool. I enjoy it.
I don't think any of us in this room can imagine anyone else being Lando, right?
I can't imagine anybody else. I think I really created a kind of interesting, unique character because I wasn't, first of all, I wasn't thinking in terms of ethnicity. I was just thinking in terms of a kind of a unique, personal kind of way of approaching that character. I didn't want to lock him into somebody's idea about racial differences and that kind of stuff. Because I think when you do that, you sort of put a limitation on where you can go with a creative idea. So I tend to want to make things bigger than life and to make it theatrical. So that's how I pretty much approach even my paintings in the same way as well as my acting.
Now, the guy with the mic, are you watching the hands in the air? Yeah? Okay, good. So we have a question down here. Sweet. And then there's one over here, and then there's one over here, and there's one over there. Try to keep up.
Hi, my name is Aaron, and I was wondering, what aspects of your own personality did you bring into the character of Lando?
Well, I'm a good-looking guy. And I have a lot of charm. Let's see, what else?
That's it.
And I got a pretty good laugh. And I'm silly. And I'm a walking absurdity. So all that contributes.
Why don't we, hold on one second, why don't we keep talking just a hair about becoming Lando? Tell everybody a little bit about the first meeting with Irv Kirshner and how you got the role.
Well, Kirshner and I, he came to my house, which is pretty cool because when you think about it, I mean, how many actors can you think of who have a director come to your house and discuss playing a role? Generally, you have to go through all kinds of, how do you say it? Oops. And, but he came to my house and we sat and talked. Yeah, I found out he was interested in Eastern philosophy and Buddhism, and I had gone through a period in my life when I was pretty much involved with Eastern philosophy. I still use a lot of the precepts. So we had this wonderful discussion, and he felt comfortable with me, and I was very happy about that. I won't say that I felt comfortable with him, but that wasn't important. The whole important thing was that he felt comfortable with me, and I have, we both actually have a tremendous, huge respect for Irv Kirshner. He was one of the most extraordinary filmmakers of the 20th century.
He was amazing. Rest his soul. He's not with us anymore, but he was amazing. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Doug, and I'm wondering if after The Empire Strikes Back, if you had any kind of over-enthusiastic fans, for lack of a better word, you were disappointed with Lando's choices, and and if there was going to be backlash or any kind of odd experiences.
That was the most.
Or whatever.
That was the most delicate way that question has ever been asked.
I mean, you betrayed Sam. You betrayed Han Solo. My guy used to get a lot of that one. Yeah. When I used to pick my daughter up from school when she was little, the kids in the schoolyard would run up to me and say, "You betrayed Han Solo." Schoolyard, like little children, they're trying to justify or rationalize Han Solo's, Lando Calrissian's actions. And I I'd get on an airplane in those years, and the stewardess would say, "You betrayed me." Pointing their fingers at me, you know.
Do you think a waitress or a flight attendant would ever spit in your drink?
I had one kid, we were at a convention one time, one kid, tell him about that kid.
We're in a room like this, and this little,
He's about 10
he must be 10 years old. Everyone's doing what you guys are doing. My name is, he just went right up to the mic, looked at Billy, and, "You betrayed Han Solo, how does that feel?" And he started going off on him, and we're kind of like,
If this kid had a gun in his hand, I would have been dead.
and then he walked away. We had to get him to come back up so we could explain it to him. Passion.
So yes, I've had my moments since, definitely.
Where's the mic? Ah, over there, yes.
Hi, my name is Devin, and you betrayed Han Solo. I was just wondering, the Star Wars Identities is opening here in Tell's World of Science. I was just wondering if you're doing anything with that while you're in town.
We only just found out about it because a bus drove by. So. It was an advertisement. We would like to. Why don't you call a museum? I'll give you my card later, and we'll come back up and visit you all. Cool. Mike. Well, he's really selective.
Hey there, my name's Lord. I have a question that hasn't been touched on yet. We all know you as Lando, obviously, but there's another iconic series of movies that you appeared in. You were in the 1989 Batman movie. I wanted to ask, was there any implied understanding or any discussion that the character may come back in a sequel? And did you have expectation of being in a sequel at any point, or no?
Well, the reason why I decided to play Harvey Dent, or accepted the role, was because I really wanted to do, obviously, Two-Face. But there was a change of hands at that time. So that little small dream, or big dream, or medium-sized dream, went straight out the window. But anyway, you win some, you lose some. At least I got halfway there.
Yeah, the sexy half was there.
Well, I would have made Two-Face pretty sexy.
Yeah.
A little lipstick here, and on this side of the face, eyeshadow, and eyelashes.
I'm still thinking if you're with a girl, she'd be pushing you to one side. Well, that microphone. Oh, it's because you keep kneeling down.
Maybe a slight lisp.
A lisp?
Yeah.
Could you perform a little bit for us what Harvey Dent would have been?
Listen, you dirty rats!
I like it. Oh, dear God, that's